I'm going to talk a little bit further about the subject I discussed in the video titled Mobile Spyware, meaning, this mobile spyware is already being used against people that are abused. In Australia, we say VAN, V-A-N, to mean violence, abuse and neglect. And it is a very complicated topic. There's been royal commissions into family violence in 2015. In 2016, the Australian Bureau of Statistics did it was a survey obviously on personal safety. And there are many studies. I'm not going to be talking in that sort of style, quoting the stats and things. I have lipstick on my teeth. They can be found. That's not really what I do. I like to look at the big picture. But I want to talk about family values. I want to talk about the destruction of the nuclear family and how this is playing into domestic violence, abuse, neglect, the secondary causes, the way that it sort of flows on down the line, doesn't it, with people just living, damaged lives, people who self-medicate, people with gambling issues, people who, just pass on abuse from the root of which is, their own hurt, with broken families, the foster system, everything I say, though, this is not to say that there aren't good in these things, that there isn't value to these things, that there aren't people that survive and come out on top or do not have poor experiences. But I think it is extremely just more than remiss. I can't think of the word I want to say, but it is very remiss, it's wrong to ignore these things, and because they play a huge role. So if any of you have any thoughts about this in the comments before I make my video, if you want to just make your thoughts down below, because some things I've said, for example, have not been very popular, to do with Gannon Stauch and his father Al Stauch not wanting to be, be the responsible parent in that situation. The marriage was obviously falling apart, and Al could have stayed the night. Al could have done a welfare check or made sure someone did a welfare check. Al could have made sure Gannon and Lena were outside of that home already. It was an unhealthy, dangerous environment. T was already violent. It is a step-parent situation. Disaster waiting to happen as far as I was concerned. Not popular. I'm not here to be popular. I think most of you understand that. I'm here just to discuss things. I'm always doing this with the view to changing my mind, if necessary or appropriate. Sometimes I'm changing yours. Sometimes we can agree to disagree. But the way I see domestic violence in particular, this is including, when you talk about child abuse, it's things that they hear, not only things that happen to them, but things that they hear and witness. It is the lifestyle that they are forced to live as an effect of domestic violence, and the changes they're forced to go through sometimes, the poverty, the lack of stability, etc., etc., etc. I really see children being put in danger all the time because of the breakdown of the nuclear family, because of the lack of this village atmosphere, bringing up children, you know, village working together, making decisions together on their futures, on their daily in their daily lives, you know, what to eat, where to go, how to build a hut, who's going to do what where. Yes, I know, excuse me for a sec, my nose is running. I'm sad, and also I've got hay fever. Yes, there's always been human to human violence and abuse, of course, and there's, you know, all sorts of cultural things to do with children and sexuality, but, you know, we are really at a dangerous level of toxicity with the screaming SJW movement, these minorities who force society to accept children not having a childhood, to accept that children can be drag queens, that they can be sexualized. It is disgusting. This is child abuse. It lets all sorts of things in. But, you know, I guess this sort of thing has actually always existed. But yeah, what do you think? Have you had personal experience of this where, you know, because we've got situations where we might have a woman with 3 children to 3 different people. This is a very complicated cosmos that this young child, these children are living in, and they're often put in the paths of uncles, step parents. And yes, I do know when women are abusive or are partners with abusive people and these children are being abused, the women are often more cruel. I know this, I do know, but I do know the statistics as well, and I know who mostly are the victims, and it's often women who are being abused, children, and what is creating this wave of violence in men. In just regular society, where 1 in 4 women over the age of 15 has been sexually assaulted, where people who have experienced one type of assault, the percentages show that the likelihood that they've had other types of assault are exponential. Like, you know, it's not often just one type of assault, you're often the victim of 2, 3, 4. So, you know, what is causing this? And this is, you know, children suffering, growing up to be abusers or to be further abused. I'll try and talk about this properly. I just wanted to introduce it because I know it's a really touchy subject, but but when people, if they're going to talk about, keeping yourself safe, etc., 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 where really does the burden lie? Well, the burden lies on everybody that is supposed to be checking on children and protecting children. That is should be the biological parents, number 1, the biological extended family, number 2, and you have things in society. You have doctors, nurses, schools, but they are not primary people. They're not primarily responsible. They shouldn't be, but they have a duty of care. They have a duty to report, and to not feel like they are going to get damaged if they do step in. But, you know, it's complicated because there are all these places where children can be at risk. This is what we've got to stop. The child abuse in the first instance, but, you know, how do you break the cycle? It is a life cycle. You know, so, you know, we need to instill these values again of this singular nuclear family, where children are least likely or less likely to experience VAN, violence, abuse, neglect. The culture, the porn culture, the disposable culture, the instant gratification culture that we live in now. Oh, I want a wedding because I want the dress and I want the beautiful Instagram photos. Some people do. I mean, we've got shows that set people up for these quickie marriages as these types of experiments. And don't try and tell me that this is akin to arranged marriage. It is not. And it's evil because these producers set people up to clash and to persecute these people to make their lives hell. They do it for the drama. Some of these relationships work out and it's actually very sweet, and they have real love, and they marry and they have children, they stay together, and it's true love. But then producers put people together they know are going to create suffering, and these people have PTSD, and some of them are suicidal, and it is disgusting. This is not the same thing as so-called healthy arranged marriage, because I mean it might be, as long as it's a choice. Some people want an arranged marriage and they go with it and they commit to a person. They trust that their families create a good match. It's not always a dark thing, but you know, we're living in a very complicated world at the moment, and so much exists at once as far as tradition and culture. But you know, we've got the raunch culture, the sexualization of children. We have got broken homes where people are growing up in abuse without stability, and they might give life a damn good try once they are spat out at 18, spat out homeless often. But you know, they can't always escape what's been done to them. This is kind of turning into that talk, so I don't know, maybe I don't need to say it again. I think you understand what I'm saying. You know, what puts children at risk? We must be honest about these risk factors, acknowledge them, and how are we going to go about changing them? It needs to be okay again. I mean, it's not judging people for any lifestyle at all, you know, but it's certainly, I think, to encourage that it's okay to, you know, think about marriage in a very serious way. Make a very good choice. Slow down. Make a choice for life and stick with it. Women, you know who you are. Don't just get pregnant. Don't get pregnant. You know, and this isn't solving anyone. You were bringing a child into the world. You are now attached to that child's other parent's family, the situation. You're exposing your child. You know, yes, things happen. Sometimes it's just life. We all know that. That is not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the decisions some women make to get pregnant purposefully to try and keep a man or for whatever reason. It happens. You know, and look, if your marriage breaks down, which is utterly devastating, you know, divorce is utterly devastating. And, you know, if you've got children, yes, you want someone for yourself, but you've got to put your children first, particularly young children, and it might mean being alone. It might mean being alone, not bringing men home, not allowing them to stay, okay? This is just what this means. Or working out some way you do get needs met when your children aren't around, when they are with your partner. I know. Again, some people don't have the support. There's nowhere for these children to go to grandma or friends while you have a break. Yes, I understand there is no respite sometimes. And no one wants to be alone. You want companionship, but you must make good choices. You can't make them for only yourself. And sometimes you've got to realize you don't make good choices. You don't choose right for you. You can be harming yourself as well. This is critical thinking, taking yourself through the thought process. Okay, sorry, this has turned into a rant. I'm heading into the city. I have loafers on today. I'm just I'm trying my loafers. I sit in my cowboy boots. It is hot. So hat for shade. My head's going to be like a little waterfall under there later. But yeah, I'll get going. I'm running late. And thank you for listening. Thank you to people standing up for me about people that put green vomit all over my comment section. I know, it's okay. That same person puts green vomit wherever they see me. I appreciate it. Thank you. I try not to let it get to me though. I mean, I've got videos being made about me and which I see accidentally. I don't go looking for them. It's just life. I've made videos about people. So take care, everyone. Thank you also for your kind thoughts about Kitten. Yeah, I've been in a bit of a funk a few days, just in a daze, a bit stunned, a bit dull, and but starting to get pretty sad. But that's okay. I know many of you have lost pets. Many of you have lost people that have been so important. Sorry, I'm jiggling this around. I didn't set it down. That have been just very important in your lives. Fathers, husbands, children, maybe wives. And loss is never easy, no matter how it happens. No matter if you're expecting that, if it's something that is expected or if it's sudden. And you don't know how you're going to grieve, and you don't know for how long for. I'm grieving cats I lost a long time ago. Okay, well, my time's run out on here, recording wise. So see you later, humanimals. Bye.